This rifle, and I believe the Spencer, can be seen in the movie Gettysburg with Tom Berenger and Jeff Bridges and almost a lot of good actors. You'll see in the first part of it a cavalry regiment under attack by Confederate forces. It's only cavalry versus infantry, and we're able to get off more shots because we have the faster rifles and we have the revolvers that could fire 6 rounds a minute. I mean, could fire 6 rounds. My specific one, is a newer invention, which can pop this out and put a fully loaded one right back in. Well, other models, especially those in the South, you had to take out a little pin, knock it out with a little hammer, take off the barrel, put a new one in, put the barrel back on, hammer the pin back in. So as you can tell, the Northern troops kind of had a superior weaponry. But again, weapons and tactics matters on the generals who are in charge. And as we all know, Robert E. Lee was very victorious in the early years of the war because, unlike the Union troops who were working in factories or working on farms, the Southern troops were hunting when they were younger. Were hunters. They hunted rabbit, hunted deer. So they had already a mindset of how to hunt and how to use a rifle. The Northern troops didn't. So that's one of the things that historians have said of why the Union suffered more casualties during the duration of the war.
Okay, while you're putting that together, let me explain something about these. Okay, everybody says, hey, they look like wonderful toys. As part of a reenactment group, we always do a safety demonstration with that when we do firing. We kind of show you what these can do if you are not careful. Now, how many people know what firecrackers do? Right? All right. Now, do you know those things that you buy in the store, you throw them on the ground and they pop? So you imagine you're putting those two together. So basically what you have is you have the firecracker inside the chamber, that little cap that is the one that you throw on the ground, and when you pop the hammer back and you hit the trigger, that's like throwing that little thing on the ground, causing the firecracker to explode. And yes, you know firecrackers can hurt. Yes, these guns can hurt if you do not know what you are doing, which is one of the reasons why we do not allow anybody under the age of 18 to touch any of our weapons, whether they're swords or not, whether they're guns, rifle, or anything. So please do not ask. Okay? If you can show us an ID saying you're 21, then fine. We allow you to handle it. But basically, as part of our safety precaution, it's one of the things that we do. So, if you ever go to a reenactment, you come over here and see the Battle of the Old Woman's Gun. Take a look at how they handle their weapons, what they do. And yes, because of the rain, before they had these type of weapons, they had the black powder, and then of course if the powder got wet, guess what happened? And we have incidents when we are actually doing a battle recreation. We actually did a battle Bunker Hill. How many people know the American Revolution and the Battle of Bunker Hill? The British kept walking up the hill and they finally captured it. We did that battle, and guess what? Almost all the British guns didn't work for one reason or another. So guess what? The Americans just got up and charged down the hill. So guess what? Bunker Hill was changed. Things happen, but at least we know how to control it. This is one of the reasons why we watch out with what we do, and we like to introduce everybody to weapons. And hopefully, maybe in the future, we will have some shooting demonstrations here besides the Old Woman's Gun, and you can actually see what these things would do. Are you about done, sir?
Almost.
Okay. Since he has a weapon, I'll still use the floor to him.
Obviously, anyone who's wearing blue is for the North, the Union. We want to keep the country united. Anyone wearing the gray or brown? Well, I'm just saying, if they're a Confederate, then there would be them. You know, them. They wanted to obviously break away from the United States and form their own country, the Confederate States of America, CSA. And a lot of Confederate, if you go to Reenactor or you look it up on the internet, you'll see CS, Confederate States. They'll have that on their buckle. And the Union will be obviously US, the United States. One of the funniest things is that in the first Battle of Bull Run, both sides were wearing blue. So there were some units on the cavalry side of the Confederates that were wearing blue, and they came across soldiers running away. We're like, "What are you guys running for? You're on our side," because they're wearing the same color. So there was a that was a terrible mistake that was corrected later, which is why they differentiated with the colors where blue is for the United States Army and gray and brown for the Confederate Army. This is on my sling, which allows me to have it right here when I'm on a horse. Obviously, the horses. So I'm dismounted cavalry. That means our horses are either in the back, being taken care of by one soldier. I'll take care of 5 horses, while the rest of us are up in front in our firing line, firing at the enemy. Some of the greatest battles, we always think of the cavalry charge, but most of the time, the cavalry dismounted off of their horses, gave their horse to another man, and they ran up, and they fought on foot. So you don't always see the fancy cavalry charge with the sabers out, charging each other. That most often does not happen. Obviously, it did happen, which the Yellow Tavern proves, which is a great battle between the Confederates and the Union on cavalry battle. But the war started in Fort Sumter in 1861 and ended in April in 1865. So that's my little illustration of the Union Army.
Marched your victory that day. But one last thing. Yes, ma'am.
The shape of his hat.
The shape of your hat, sir. It has to do with his head, ma'am.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Yes, what is it that you...
The front part of it here, the round circle part, a reason for that?
This would be, you would have a cross sabers, that would be for cavalry. You would have a horn, that would be for infantry, and 2 cannons, not with the wheels, but just the cannons, would be for artillery.
If you want to know why is it
round?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Why is this round up here? It's hard to say, who developed it and how it was developed. But one thing we'd like to mention about the Civil War, that this year is the 150th anniversary of the Civil War calendar. So if any of you decide to take trips back east, keep an eye on the calendar. In April of this year, Charleston Harbor will start the calendar year with another recreation on the Battle of Fort Sumter, the bombardment of Fort Sumter. And then you take the calendar year and add it to this calendar year. So by the time 2013 comes around in July, you actually have the 150th anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg, which would definitely anybody who is any part of Confederate and Union will end up just possible. Thank you very much again, sir. Now, let's see. We have a lady that's coming in here, and I would like to, before she starts talking, yes, ma'am.
Oh, let me introduce myself.
Yes, ma'am, please.
In case you forgot.
Yes.
Actually, Mr. Dominguez invited me here to his home, and actually I'm a neighbor. We don't see each other very much because I have to travel in a buggy drawn by horses. And I started out so early this morning, it actually looked like it was going to be raining. So I put on my not so fancy clothes. Actually, I didn't know that he was preparing for a fandango. And if I had known there would be so many guests, I would have worn a fancy ball gown. But this is my traveling outfit. I have my warm leather gloves on, my riding hat, also known as a carriage hat, It has